having joys with technology. Laptop is not wanting to work with me right now, so had to flip over to utilize a cell phone to get this accomplished and get it completed. And before we get started, of course, I want to give a shout out to one of the three sponsors that we have, that being Tabala's Food for Thought. Thank you, Jasper, for everything that you do with Tabala. Thank you for your heart, your passion, your drive to showcase other small businesses, to highlight and bring to light the stories of others. And so I know you have that heart, and it's a beautiful thing to see that collaboration piece and see the highlights of other businesses and getting out there and putting the spotlight on others. So, of course, give you the shout out. Thank you for everything that you do. Also, next week, actually, we're almost on Sunday. So, this week coming up, Tabal will actually be going back out running the food truck. So, I know Jasper is excited for that, to get back out in the community and give back in a manner of feeding the community, because everybody loves food, everybody loves it. So, the other thing that we see underneath the shout out for our sponsor, that being the subscribe to the 2NS, Two Native Sons YouTube channel. So, as I've talked about this multiple times, the only way that's going to grow is through the community. So, go like, subscribe, follow the YouTube channel, help us to grow that, get that large, and help us to allow to reach other people through another platform and whatnot. But I was thinking and looking, and it's unique, the power of the spoken word, the power that your words can have. And I was talking to an individual, and they were discussing the fact that they love being true to themselves. And then just kind of listen to the conversation, and then they come out and they're like, I want to be around other people that are true to themselves. But during the conversation, there were things that were brought up in regards to kind of holding back. And it's unique because when you hear that, it's like, why are you going to hold back? If you say you're true to yourself, why do you hold back? And I look at it, one of the things I talk about is the fear factor that we have as individuals. We're scared about being judged. We've gone through our whole life of having that factor of being judged by others. And so we don't truly show up as ourselves. But it's unique how you'll listen to people and they're like, yeah, I'm showing up as my true solid self. And I want to be around other people that are that same way. But then they're not showing up. They're still holding things back because of that fear factor. And so it's your words say one thing, but your mind, your subconscious mind, is putting out that limiting belief that you can't show up and play big. You can't show up because you're scared of what other people are going to think. And when you look at that, what does that do for you as an individual if you're holding back? And I find it funny because I think a lot of people want to be true and show up as their true solid self, but they're still holding back. They are not playing full out. They're not showing up as that authentic version of themselves. They're still holding back. And so they are still not showing up as their authentic self. And I have to laugh because people will say, I'm showing up as my true solid self, but then they'll cuss, they'll drop fuck, they'll drop shit, they'll whatever it is. And then they're like, sorry. And I'm like, why are you apologizing? If that's you, why are you apologizing? There's no need to apologize. And it goes back to the fact too. It's like, okay, I want to show up as my true solid self, but then when we go and we end up dropping that type of language, which it's unique because everybody has their lens that they're looking at life through. And you can run into the situation where it's the fact of you allow other people's views, you allow other people how they look at life to dictate how you interact, how you show up. And it's one of those tough things because being in the business world, we've got we still have this where we're gonna show up as our fake self. We're not gonna be our true self. And not want to do because we've just been told you don't do that. You don't show up that way. This isn't appropriate. And I'm like, screw that shit. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm gonna show up this way. Because it's unique because you'll talk to other people and you'll ask them, hey, what's your dream? What do you want to accomplish and whatnot? And then they'll start talking and then they'll stop and they'll be like, man, I really don't know how to say this because I don't want to come off as being arrogant, or I don't want to come off as being this big person and scaring people. And I was sitting there, and when I'm listening to individuals talk about that, I'm like, bring it, let's hear it, let's go. There's no judgment here. This is what you want to accomplish, so bring it, let's go. Let's get that out on the table and help you fine tune what that is for you. And so it just goes back to the fact that people want to really truly want to show up as their true authentic self, but they are still holding back. And if we got a lot of people that would come up and show their true authentic self without having the hesitation or having to apologize for who they are, man, we would be in a different light. We would be in a different situation. People would actually be being played, going out and playing full out, playing big and whatnot because of the fact that they are showing up and they're not scared. But we have the fact that fear holds us back. And so I had shared a memory today on Facebook, and the fact that people know and they need to do, but when we get it, and I'm on the cell phone screen, so we really can't see it. So this is not a very wide gap here. But between knowing and doing is this gap of fear. Whoop, there's a gap. And so that fear can hold us back. And when I shared it, I was like, you just got to punch that fear in the face. You got to tell it to shut up and sit down and just go. Just do it and embrace the fear, because the fear is there to kind of test you, and it goes into regards of, if I do this, how am I going to show up? If I do this, a lot of times we revert back to, well, if I do this, what can go wrong? It's like, screw that. Like, if you do this, what happens for you in your life? What does life look like? What does your world look like because you went from knowing to doing, and you just said, screw you, fear. I see you. I'm going to freaking punch you in the face, tell you to sit down and go. How would life look like? What would your life look like if you honestly took that approach and told fear to shut up and just take a seat, watch what happens? It would be magnificent. There'd be a lot more going on, a lot more taking place. And it's I have to laugh because it fear is such a powerful emotion. Fear is such a powerful thing that holds people back. And why do you allow the fear to hold you back? What is it about fear that really drives the bus for you, that drives or steers your boat for you and holds you back? Like, honestly, if you go after, what's the worst that can happen? You fail, you have a mistake, you learn from it, you grow, and you keep on going. You progress, you get better, you end up leveling up. Man, that's huge if you think about it. But you just can't let the fear hold you back. And it's unique because with the idea of the power of your words, the power of your thoughts, how that can impact, because who you are, you really are pushing out on to other people, and what you're pushing out is being reflected back to you. And so I brought this up before. You'll hear people that are like, I trust myself, but I don't trust people. So if you don't trust people, you honestly don't trust yourself. So because you're pushing that out, and that's what's showing up. And so if you truly trusted yourself, you would trust people. And it goes to the fact that we end up going through different experiences, going through different situations. Things don't work out. Something happens. So we end up going to the point where we, don't want to open up. We don't want to be vulnerable because of the fear factor of, well, this happened in this past situation. So if it happened here, it's going to happen here. And so you're taking that situation and you're pulling it forward and you're having it bleed into what's taken place. And because of that fact of you're bringing it and letting it bleed, that's what's showing up. You've got to understand that every situation, every experience is going to be different. And you can't take one situation and allow it to bleed and paint into this next situation, because if you do, you're going to miss out. Like, you've got to look at it and kind of come down to the point and say you're comparing apples to oranges. Two different things, two different things. And so it's the same thing with every experience. Every experience is going to be different. It's a different set of circumstances, different experience. So you can't bring that failure, or you can't bring that past and what took place and let it feed into this current situation. Because if you're focused on, oh man, this is what happened this last time, what you focus on is what persists. And so if you're focusing on that, plus it grows. So if you're focusing on that, that's what's going to persist in this next relationship, this next experience. That's what's going to grow. And so you will end up potentially self-sabotaging yourself because of focusing on what went wrong in the past. This is where you really have to do the deep dive. You got to go back and look and say, okay, what lesson was there for me to learn from and bring forward? And so that's ultimately what you want to be doing, looking at those previous situations, really, is just what lesson was there. But when it comes to this aspect here, and this comes from The Buddha and the Badass, one of the many books, but this is one that I highly, highly suggest people check out. Really do the deep dive, really work through this. And part one in the book, it says, become a magnetic, go inward to attract outward. And so that is what it is. It's, you've got to work on the inside to attract the outside pieces, to attract that. And so if you're going inside and focusing on what went wrong previously, that's what you're going to attract. And so maybe this new experience isn't what you thought it was going to be, but because you're focusing and you're having that inward focus on that, that's what you're going to attract. And so that's what's going to show up. And in here, Machine talks about too many people end up hiding their own unique gifts to fit into the world around them. And that's one of those things that when you look at it, being in a tribe, being a caveman and building that tribe, if you didn't fit in, you were probably getting tossed out of the tribe. And at that time, that could be very dangerous for you. And so this is the same thing. Our brain still, it's still that stage where it's back in that time where you had to be fearful because outside your cave was something that was a lot larger than you that was going to kill you. So in today's day and age, if you get tossed out of the tribe that you're in, whatever it is, cool. Go and create your own tribe. Go and find those people that really match with who you are. But to do that, though, and to find those people and attract those people, you've got to show up as your true, authentic self. You can't hold anything back. Because if you do that, you're hiding your unique gifts and the world doesn't see it. You're hiding them so you're not going to attract those individuals meant to be part of your tribe. And so we imitate more often than we radiate. So think about it. When you are in your situation, when you're doing something, are you imitating? And so that's where now you're dealing with that fake pseudo self. Are you imitating other people to blend in with that crowd? Or are you going to stick out and radiate and be yourself and show up with your true authentic gifts and do what you need to? And so that can be hard, though. I know it can be hard because I went through that shit. And one thing that resonates with me and I love it, was Jen Arnold from a networking group that we meet. They meet every Monday here in the Springs. But after I had done a education piece, Jen came up and told me, and she's like, you know what? I didn't know that about you. I didn't think that was who you were, and I thought you were just the loud guy that showed up, really didn't care, and that's the perception that she had of me. And I was like, you know what? I take that as a compliment because I'm going to play by my own rules. I'm going to play by my own games here. I'm not going to try to fit in with other people. I'm going to do what I need to do. And so it's one of those unique things that I show up and be my true self. And that's what you get. What you see is what you get. So the loud person, if you give me a challenge, it's going. If I give you a challenge, I expect you to go through with it. Have fun. This is life. Like life is already tough enough. So if you can't laugh at yourself, life is not going to be fun. It's not going to be anything that you want to be mindful about. But I find it funny because individuals will talk about not not liking individuals that cuss. It was unique because I was giving a presentation and somebody asked me, so people resonate with the word fuck. I was like, some people do, but that's me. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to change it. There's a little bit of blending in, but I'm not going to lose myself. And so it's funny because you'll hear people that will talk and say, "Oh, I don't like the cussing and whatnot," but then you'll see that things are posted where it's the individual does cuss a lot, and so it's like, "Oh my goodness!" So whatever. I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that to each their own. You're always gonna find things and that fit your narrative, and you're going to find things that doesn't fit your narrative. You're always looking and whatnot, but I think that's also the power of having an open mind to look and listen, because if you're always looking for things that fit with your narrative and you don't question anything, how do you expect to grow? How do you expect to be able to come and face challenges and grow from that? Because that's the thing. If we're always finding individuals that are going to agree with our narrative and not challenge what you're saying and not bring about a different light because they want to be part of that crowd and whatnot, so they're going to agree with everything, that doesn't do anything for anybody. There's no growth, there's no progression. And so when I talk to individuals, especially when I do the lives and whatnot, and so right now this is what I tell people: if you're watching this and there's an aha moment that you took away from this, share it. If there is something that I've shared and you're like, Scott, that's crazy, that's not accurate, that's not how I see it, cool. Drop your opinion on what it is. And if it disagrees with what I'm talking about, cool. I'd love to hear that and kind of see if there's something that I'm not realizing, if there's something that I'm not seeing. Because the only way we are going to progress is through the challenges. And the challenges are there to help with that progression. And so I'm open to hear other people's opinions. I'm open to listen and see, because maybe there's something that you're looking at it one certain way and I haven't thought about it before. And so it helps me out to really look and say, okay, is this belief that I have, is this paradigm that I have, is it all the way accurate? Because that's the thing. All we know is our situation. That's all we know. We don't know anything else. And so if you're not open to sit down and have that open mind conversation and listen and see another opinion, how are you growing? How are you progressing? Because I'm gonna take a guess that if you're not doing that, everything else, books that you're reading, people that you're listening to, are all about fitting your narrative. And so you're not growing, you're not progressing. So this is interesting because there's an individual that I had found through a podcast. His name's Justin Sua, and he was talking about audit your circle. And so this is something that we all have to do. You have to look and see who you're surrounding yourself with, because who you're surrounding yourself with also is impacting who you are as an individual, impacts you in regards to your growth. The people you surround yourself with will influence how you think, your definition of success, your response to stress, and the standards you set for yourself. Are the people you choose to be around helping you become a better version of yourself? And it goes into the piece of looking and not trying to find everybody that fits your narrative. Open up and bring people into your circle that does challenge you, that does push you, so you can grow and progress. Because that's what life is about. It's that journey piece. It's all about the growth and progression. The journey is never ending. We're always on this journey. And so you just have to be mindful. And it's funny because when I look at it, it's the power of your thoughts, the power of your spoken word. And what's happening really is starting from that internal piece, you with your internal aspect for yourself. What you are pushing out is being reflected to you through other people. And so if it's one of those things that it's unique too, that you'll hear people that are like, I trust myself, but I don't trust other people. So you honestly don't trust yourself, because if you don't trust other people, that's what you're pushing out. That's what's reflecting. That's what's coming back to you. So it is a reflection that you don't truly trust yourself. And it's one of those crazy things when you think about it, you'd be like, man, this is there's no way, no way. All right. That, like I said, that's my opinion. That's, but looking at the studies and whatnot, those thoughts and whatnot are being what's reflected back to you. And so if you have anything, if you have a dream, a vision, you have something inside of you and you just don't know how to pull it out, send myself, some Patrick's, and the Two Native Sons Facebook page, send us a message. Let's sit down and talk, because it goes to the point that if you have that message, you have that vision, you have that dream, you don't know how to extract it, and you don't have people around you, it's never going to come out. And so I had shared this and I've talked about this before, that, and this comes from the Sheen with the Boot and the Badass, that with an idea, a dream, you have to share it, because how do you expect it to take life? Because if you don't bring together and share that dream and vision with somebody else, and you're stuck with yourself, you're limited by your experiences, you're limited by your lenses. And so you've got to share this to start bringing it to life. And so that's one of those reasons why I talk about with Two Native Sons the piece of impacting a billion people by our 15th year anniversary, which is for September 2034, and then become $1 billion enterprise, because we have to speak it. We got to put it out there so people see it, and we start attracting, we start bringing people in that dream big just like us. And then it goes into regards of having a vehicle large enough where people can jump in. They see your dream and they're excited and they're chasing it. But it goes back to, how can we help these individuals that are coming along with us? What are their dreams? How can we help them go after their dreams? What do they need? What resources? What individuals do they need to know? Who do they need to know? So let's look and see, okay, let's chase a big dream, but also don't give up on your dreams. Let's see what your dreams are and let's go after those. What do you need? How can we be of service to you? How can we help you out to get to that point? And it's a beautiful thing when you start having that collaboration piece, and not being worried that if they're in the same industry, cool. That's awesome, because you're not going to be able to meet everybody. You're not going to be able to service everybody. You're limited by you. And so having that collaboration, having that piece, the team that comes together to work is a beautiful thing. But you have to have that mindset. And it can be tough because we've been so ingrained that it's competition. Don't share your dreams. Don't tell people about it because people are going to steal it. Screw that shit. Share away. If they steal it, cool. The biggest thing that's going to separate you from anybody else is your heart story that is entwined with that dream, with that business. That's what is going to separate you from everybody else. And again, as we have down here, we have our sponsor. Shout out to Jasper with Tabala's Food for Thought and Tabala Creative Cuisine that will start running this week coming up. And of course, thank you, Jasper, for everything that you do. Thank you for your heart, your passion, your drive, your love to highlight other people, to showcase other people, to put the spotlight on other people. And then go subscribe, like, follow the Two Native Sons YouTube channel, because legitimately the only way that grows is through the community. And if you're watching this and you're supporting us and you're not saying anything, we ask, just say something, say hi, say something. Let us know you're there. Don't be a creeper, don't be a lurker in the background, because legitimately the only way this gets exposure, this grows, is through individuals having those interactions, leaving the emojis, the likes, the hearts, the cares, the laughing face, the angry face, because maybe I said something that made you mad, which is okay. But that's the thing. Social media, the only way things grow is through the sharing of things. And so if you're watching this and it's on Facebook and it's resonating with you, hit the share button. But don't be a creeper. Don't just be watching this on the replay, not say anything. If at all anything, hashtag replay for, just do something. Just don't be a creeper and whatnot. But our biggest thing is that asking for that assistance, asking for that help to help grow the YouTube channel, the Two Native Sons channel. So go subscribe, like, follow the channel. But again, thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for your support. Truly, we appreciate just your guys' love and the backing and whatnot. But also, we're grateful that we know people that are big dreamers, big visionaries, dreaming of a big future, and are out there putting out the work, out there putting forth the work and the effort and making a huge impact. And so thank you for that. Keep doing it, keep chasing your dreams. Don't let other people steal it. Don't become the crab in the bucket syndrome. Don't let people pull you down. Audit who you're surrounding yourself with, and if you need to change that group, find your tribe, find that actual tribe that's going to be there for you, to support you, to help you reach those big dreams, those big goals and whatnot. So other than that, I'll catch you guys later. It's already early Sunday morning. Good times. Like I tell people, this really is, for me, is the most creative time for me is late at night. And so that's why a lot of times videos are done so late at night, is because the creative juices, the creative process is kicked in. But again, thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for your love. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great night. Catch you guys later. All right. Peace.